Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 79 of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. We're going to pick two random SoulsBorne bosses, and then each one will be given a field of leaves to clear, and whoever clears their leaves the fastest will be the winner. One might think this is community service again, but really I just need the leaves cleared from my yard, so it's just what it is. It's personal. It's me abusing my power is what it is. As long as nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter. So don't tell anybody, I guess is what I'm really getting at here. And I would really appreciate that. Alright, the battlefield has been cleared. It can house any and all SoulsBorne bosses, and it has housed them at least once in a SoulsBorne Battle Royal. A couple weeks ago, we had a triple threat match for the first time. So this little generator I've created has almost 100 SoulsBorne bosses and some special spots, which, like I said, created that triple threat match that I was talking about, and the Battle Royal, as you know, if I'm really, being honest about it. So anything can happen on SoulsBorne Battle to Death. So we're gonna stop this wheel, and we are gonna see who the first competitor is going to be. Ornstein and Smough. Ornstein and Smough have made a couple appearances here on SoulsBorne Battle to Death. Oh boy, everybody remembers Ornstein and Smough. One of the toughest boss fights in SoulsBorne history, I think we can all agree on. And it's not just the fact that there's two of them either. I think each one individually is a tough boss. But definitely the fact that there's two of them and they're both there, that's really what makes this a royal pain in the ass. And I'm in the midst of doing a Dark Souls remastered no Estus run right now. And that is not going to be fun. I am not looking forward to that at all. And I'm having a tough enough time getting through this game, and I'm bitching about it all the way through, talking about the shitty controls and the shitty collision detection and all that stuff. Oh god, it's gonna suck. This is gonna suck so bad. Alright, enough about my problems. Ornstein and Smough on one side of the field. We're gonna take this wheel for another spin. Sorry, I had to go off on a little bit of a tangent. Any opportunity I get to complain about Dark Souls Remastered, I will take it. I mean, the game is amazing overall, but it's not without its problems, and I just don't understand why it didn't fix those problems when they remastered the game, but that's just me. That's just how I feel. And if you watch my No Estus Run playthrough, you will see several scenarios where, I think I have a legitimate gripe. Alright, Ornstein and Smough, the legendary duo, the dynamic duo of SoulsBorne lore, on one side of the battlefield, and they will go one-on-one. That doesn't make any sense. Alright. They're on one side of the battlefield, and on the other side we have Yorm the Giant from Dark Souls 3. That is actually an interesting fight, and I know the Yorm fight in Dark Souls 3 is basically a gimmick fight because you have the Storm Ruler and all that, but what if you didn't? I've never tried to fight Yorm without Storm Ruler, so I don't know how that would go. Maybe I'll have to play the game again and see how tough that is. Like I said, I've never tried it, so But Ornstein and Smough aren't going to have any Storm Rulers, so yeah. This is a main event fight anywhere in the world, and in any world whatsoever. So, this is a fight I can definitely get behind. So, we are going to go now to the contractually obligated bio. So, let's have a look at Ornstein and Smough. The fabled duo of Ornstein and Smough, their story begins at the city of Adar Londo, the city of the gods, in Dark Souls. Ornstein was a knight in the service of the Lord of Sunlight, and he took part in the war against the dragons. And after his lord won the war, exterminating the dragons. And on that note, I really think they need to look up the definition of exterminate, because taking the definition of the word and then playing the games, you will find dragons all over the goddamn place. So they maybe need to use a different word for that. But Ornstein was awarded with a fragment of Lord Gwyn's soul, which I think I would have rather taken gold. Ornstein would also become the first knight of Gwyn's firstborn son, who I believe is rumored to be the Nameless King. That's speculation on my part, but I think that's the way it works out. After Gwyn linked the first flame and his firstborn son was dethroned and exiled and just basically thrown out on his ass, all of the gods that made their home in Anor Londo would just basically say fuck this shit and they'd leave. Ornstein stayed behind with Smaug to basically defend Guinevere. They were the last line of defense before anyone could get to Guinevere. And Lord knows I wouldn't mind protecting that. Smaug, on the other hand, was the royal executioner for Anor Londo. He has a giant hammer and grotesque armor. He is certainly a force to be reckoned with. He wanted to be one of Gwyn's knights, but he was rejected, even though he had immense power. And I personally think it has to do with his weight. And if that's the case, I think Smaug should either sue or just annihilate them off the face of the map. Although, to be fair, Smaug may have a little something, a screw loose in his head. He really enjoyed his executioner work, and apparently he ground the bones of those he killed into his feed so he could absorb them. And his hammer restores health to him because of its use, I guess. I don't know how that works, but, you know, whatever. So yeah, once again, after Gwyn links the first flame and his firstborn son is gotten rid of, Ornstein and Smaug stay back in the cathedral to guard Guinevere. And they are a formidable duo for a reason. A lot of times in Dark Souls, you're dealing with one boss, one very powerful boss. Now, here, you're dealing with two of them. And, well, spoiler alert, if you beat one, then it absorbs into the other one, and then they become this super powered, you know, boss, whatever. So, yeah, Ornstein and Smaug are famous for a reason, and it is well deserved. They are very, very tough. That's why most people remember them, but they are still beloved in the world of Dark Souls by their fans. So, yeah, I'm happy to see them in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. So, once upon a time, Yorm was asked to lead a subjugated people who immediately responded by doubting him. Why would you doubt Yorm? Plus, Yorm's a giant. I mean, I think doubting him is jumping the gun just a little bit, but that's just me. The doubters were given a giant slaying sword in case they felt like they had any issues with him. It was to gain his trustworthiness. At some point, Yorm lost someone very dear to him, which made him forsake his great shield. And at another time, he became friends with Sigurd of Katarina, who, as we all know, is the man, the myth, and the legend. After he lost that someone dear to him, he notched his machete so he could adopt a more ferocious two-handed fighting style, as if fighting a giant wasn't ferocious enough. So eventually, this unknown oracle comes around, and they form the Profane Flame, which is a flame that will never go out, and Yorm becomes a Lord of Cinder to put this flame to rest. People question his sincerity in doing so, becoming a Lord of Cinder to do this for, you know, as opposed to rekindling the first flame, I guess. I suppose that's what they're questioning. Unfortunately, after Yorm became a Lord of Cinder, a hellish flame fell out of the sky and onto his city and killed all the human inhabitants. So, you ever seen the movie Basketball? It sure does seem to be raining shit on Yorm the Giant. This flame that fell out of the sky derived from both Dark and Abyss, and was actively seeking humanity when it came down, so this was definitely a setup. Yorm was just doomed to fail from the start, apparently. He gave his other Storm Ruler the giant killing sword to Sigurd, and made Sigurd promise to put an end to himself, Yorm, should he ever come back to life. So that was the promise that Sigurd was keeping to Yorm in Dark Souls 3. So yeah, Yorm is a bit of a gimmick boss. When you start the fight, you have to run all the way across the room to get Storm Ruler, and then you have to equip it, and then you have to fight Yorm with it. Hopefully you have Sigurd with you, makes the fight significantly easier. Although if you have watched my no level up run, not my no Estus run, you will realize that Sigurd can die during this if you're not quick enough, so, or if you don't fight well enough. So yeah, that was a very upsetting segment of my life when Sigurd died during the no level up run. But all went well during the no Estus run, so I guess that's all that matters. Yorm is a very tough opponent. Even with the giant killing swords, Yorm can be very tough. Especially when you don't know what you're doing. But I don't think I've ever tried to fight Yorm without Storm Ruler. Someday I may have to try that. But for right now, I just stick to the old tried and true. But yeah, Yorm is definitely no joke. Certainly a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, I would not want him standing across from me in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. This is a heavyweight championship main event fight anywhere in any world. Ornstein and Smaug versus Yorm the Giant. People are going to look down on Yorm because he is considered one of the easier bosses in Dark Souls 3. But that is only because of Storm Ruler. Without Storm Ruler, Yorm the Giant is very difficult. And I have said on this show before, certain things I say may or may not be controversial. I am going to say something that may be controversial. And I'm going to say that Yorm the Giant would beat Ornstein and Smaug. The reason I believe that, and once again we have to take into effect that Yorm being somewhat of a mid-level boss in Dark Souls 3 is kind of in the middle of the game. You have to bring him up to Ornstein and Smaug's level to make them equal. Yorm has a lot of hit points. Obviously, like I said, with Storm Ruler, it makes the fight a great deal easier, and even easier if you have Sigurd there and he has his own Storm Ruler. Yeah, Yorm hits pretty hard, and without Storm Ruler, it takes a lot longer to whittle down his health. And if you bring him up to Ornstein and Smaug's level, he's got even more hit points. So I think that Yorm the Giant wins this fight. It would be a very good fight still. I think it would be a damn good fight. Ornstein and Smaug are obviously no slouch. They're probably the toughest boss in Dark Souls 1. You know, obviously considering there's two of them, but they're two tough individual bosses as well. But I think Yorm the Giant walks away the victor in this fight. It would certainly not be an easy fight for either side, but I think that Yorm would win. That's how I feel. Sorry, all you Ornstein and Smaug fans out there, but that is just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours in the comments. And with that, yet another episode of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death draws to a close. RobertBlanchardBooks.com. If you're interested in the award-winning Roar of a Dragon series, you can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. If you'd like to hear more about them, the Rise of Dragons podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. My Linktree, my Instagram, my Twitter, all Bobby's World 2110. Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now is the Dark Souls Remastered No Estus Run, or the Hot Garbage Remastered No Estus Run, as I've come to refer to it as. This past week is the Quelaag Win or Bust episode, so you're definitely going to want to check that out. For those that don't know, that is Win or Bust means I fight Quelaag until I beat her. So that could take days, weeks, or months. Obviously, you probably know it doesn't take weeks or months, or else I'd still be doing it. But could take hours or days. That has happened before in past Win or Bust episodes. So, yeah, definitely check that out if you are interested. In the archives, I have the Elden Ring No Crimson Flask run. I have the Sekiro No Healing Gourd run. I have the Dark Souls 3 No Estus run, and the Dark Souls 3 No Level Up run, and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want to check that out. And Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what you're watching right now. SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. And I don't have to explain that to you because you just watched it. So, I also have the Your Father's Story videos where I answer questions from a journal-like book that I bought at Target. I answer them mostly for the boys, which they really seem to enjoy, which is very cool. But, you know, if anyone wants to know a little bit more about me, they can go check those out. There's 3 videos up right now. And the Hunger Games. There was a Hunger Games up last week. Sorry. There's Hunger Games 26 went up last week. And as you are watching this, Hunger Games 27 probably went up yesterday. So why the quick turnaround? Why 2 Hunger Games so soon, one after the other? Well, I guess you're going to have to watch 27 to find out. There is a story reason behind it. So, yeah, go check that out if you're interested. Leave a like, subscribe, notifications, and all that nonsense. I love and appreciate you guys very much. Channel experienced some growth. I've been talking about that a lot lately, and it means a lot to me. It makes spending my free time doing this a lot more bearable. It's always more helpful when you see that more people are watching and more people are appreciating your content. So, yeah, it always just means that much more. So, yeah, I just appreciate you guys more than you could possibly imagine. So, I hope everyone has an amazing week. Be well, stay safe, and as always, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. See y'all, Steve alive, y'all. Bye.
Hey, boss.
Yes, Courtney.
Mrs. Anderson called. She wanted to order several copies of your books for family and friends.
Oh, that's amazing. Get some ordered, have them sent over to me, and I will sign them for her. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me.
I didn't know you were an author.
You did. Courtney, you've been with me for like 2 years now, and we've talked about it fairly constantly, and there's an ad at the end of every one of these videos.
Well, that doesn't mean that I listen to everything you tell me. Are the books any good?
Well, ReadersFavorite.com said that its intensity rivals that of the Game of Thrones series. I know, that's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what it says. It's on the Cry of a Raven review. Go check it out.
Well, that's pretty cool. What are the books about?
It's about a soldier who gets exiled for saving a baby dragon, and later he's killed, and he wakes up 3,000 years later with strange powers, and he's watched over by the very same dragon, and the world has been overrun by evil, and he now must travel back in time to stop the evil that started in his own home country.
Wow, that sounds interesting. How can I get copies of the books?
Well, you can go to robertblanchardbooks.com and order your copies there. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast.
You have a podcast too?
You know what, Courtney? You are doing such an amazing job that I think you are due for a raise. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you, boss.
You bet. Too bad the raise is going to be when I raise a water balloon over her head and just... Maybe I'll wait until her mom calls. I think she'll find that pretty funny. Go to robertblanchardbooks.com right now and get your copies of the series that got 3 5-star reviews from readersfavorite.com, 3 Author Shout Recommended Reads Awards, and 2 Literary Titan Silver Awards. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free, read more reviews, short stories, and much more. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts.